Guys, welcome to my new video, and today we'll be looking at healer performance in pre-patch. Now, a lot of you have asked me to look at healer performance, but before I'm going to do anything, I have to say a big disclaimer, guys. If you're going to choose a main in Shadowlands based on their performance in pre-patch, please don't. You're missing the fact that pre-patch healers are not using things like the new legendaries, they're not using new soulbinds, covenant, conjured abilities that could impact them greatly in Shadowlands, on top of the fact that a lot of the healers don't even have rank 2 of certain spells that could impact their rotation in Shadowlands and make them a lot stronger. So again, guys, this video is going to be look at the performance, but I will be making my recommendations in terms of the abilities that are missing that could impact the rotation. I'll be making my recommendations or historical data that could impact where a healer is going to fall into a certain niche in Shadowlands and in pre-patch itself, and we're going to be talking about why pre-patch healers or certain healers are doing so well. So let's get started. Now, this is your Nyalota healer HPS performance. Don't get too alarmed about HPS, because HPS is not an indicator, or a lot of the times it's not an indicator of what makes a healer great or wanted in mythic content. Keep in mind, this is looking at 75 percentile because I wanted to look at a more average healer performance and what class is giving that performance. You can see that Holy Priest is doing a whole lot of HPS at this given point, followed by Resto Shaman, then very close to Discipline Priest, Mistweaver Monk, Restoration Druid, and Holy Paladin falling from the top spot with that ineffable build down to the lowest spot, and we'll talk about that. Now, first of all, you have to think about Holy Priest. Why are Holy Priest doing so much HPS? A lot of the fights in Nyalota right now are lasting very few minutes, they're very short. Having 2 healing cooldowns like Divine Hymn and Holy War Salvation means you can squeeze them in, and you can do a whole lot of HPS with Azerite traits like Pray for Litany, which has always been strong. Keep in mind that even though Holy Priest historically has always been a strong HPS healer, their HPS was not really matching their attendance in higher end mythic rating. So if we actually look at some of the data where people were actually progressing Nyalota, where Holy Paladin was still the king of HPS and basically one of the strongest healers, Holy Priest was actually pretty good in terms of pure HPS. They were matching Holy Paladin's HPS in a lot of content, but if you actually look at the bosses that were strong or powerful or where progression was really needed, like N'Zoth, you can see that the parses or the number of parses, it was dominated by Holy Paladins, it was dominated by Resto Shamans, it was dominated by Discipline Priests, and all the healers or other healers saw a heavy drop off because there is extra utility in Discipline Priest, there is extra utility in Holy Paladin or Resto Shaman back in Nyalota days. So generally speaking, my recommendation for Holy Priest or historical data is that they've always been a good HPS healer. And if you're playing heroic content or entry level mythic content, I feel that they're a really good healer to start off with. They're a very good beginner's healer and they can give you good HPS numbers. If you're doing really high end mythic rating, that choice might be different. Now in Mythic Plus, Holy Priest was actually pretty interesting to play because you had to use things like Shadow World Pain, and it was interesting to put dots on mobs. Keep in mind, I was playing Discipline Priest right afterwards, and with Discipline Priest you put out Shadow World Pain and you expect some healing in return, while with Holy Priest you don't get that. There's definitely a big sacrifice to be made in terms of whether to DPS or heal. In terms of abilities they don't have right now, you get Power Infusion at level 58 in the same way that Discipline does as well. So now let's move on to Restoration Shaman. Now Resto Shaman has been doing a whole lot of HPS, and that is purely because a lot of their healing abilities were just outright buffed. You have to look at things like Earth Shield that went from 10% healing increase to 20% healing increase, which means that Resto Shaman's single target healing has been improved. Resto Shaman is just getting a ton of utility, so all of a sudden beside the utility they provide with things like Spirit Link Totem, Healing Tide Totem, things like Mana Tide Totem right now, things like Wind Rush Totem, they're also doing a ton of HPS, which is one of the reasons why I decided to play or main Resto Shaman in raid content. In Mythic Plus, I've been having a lot of fun with Resto Shaman. I will miss Ignis Potential. I will miss that strong single target DPS with Lava Burst. I do have to say that Earth Shield feels meaningful. I do have to say that Resto Shaman is a fun Mythic Plus healer, and I'm really enjoying it right now in pre-patch, and I'm sure I will enjoy it in Shadowlands as well. In terms of the abilities they're missing in pre-patch, you have to consider that some of the totems are a lot weaker because you get rank 2 Mana Tide Totem, which is going to increase the radius, and you also get rank 2 of Healing Tide Totem, which is going to increase the duration. So their totems are a little weaker in pre-patch, and they're going to be a lot stronger in Shadowlands itself. Now let's go to Discipline. Discipline by a lot of people has been considered as the golden child in the priest class. Priests have been extremely popular because Shadow Priest is doing extremely well in terms of range DPS performance, so all of a sudden a lot of people are probably gonna go into the whole Priest class in pre-patch and Shadowlands itself. Now in terms of performance for Discipline, Discipline has always been a type of healer that requires a lot of practice. You need to know the damage patterns and things like that, and you can see that. Historically speaking, Discipline Priest has been below the HPS numbers of Holy Priest. A lot of the times people will say like, why are you playing Discipline Priest? You're trying so much harder in order to get less HPS than Holy. But a lot of those people might now realize that Discipline Priest provides passive DPS. Barrier does not show up on healing meters, and Discipline has always been the preferred option in high-end Mythic raiding. Again, this goes back to my recommendation. If you're not doing really high-end Mythic raiding, there's no reason not to play Holy Priest. I see far too many scenarios where a really good Holy Priest is forced to play Discipline Priest, and they can't play Discipline Priest really well. In my eyes, a good or amazing Holy Priest is always going to be better than average Discipline Priest to some extent. But if you can master your Discipline Priest, you are, in my eyes, always going to be wanted in Mythic raiding, and you're going to perform well in Mythic dungeons as well. Now in terms of Mythic Plus, I always like Discipline Priest. I like their playstyle. I like the fact that Mind Blast was added. It has a hefty mana cost associated with it, so you have to be careful. I did try out things like Shadow Covenant talent and trying to optimize my DPS with Mind Seer. Now I only did that after I placed all of my dots out, because Shadow World Pain does a ton of DPS and healing, especially with your death throws as a raid trade in pre-patch. Now let's go to the Mistweaver Monk. And Mistweaver has been a very controversial healer both in Shadowlands and pre-patch, because a lot of people have different ideas for what they needed. A lot of people wanted mastery effect in more of the toolkit, which I kind of received through the Red Crane implementation. A lot of people wanted a more clear indication of what's going to be stronger, fist weaving or the ranged build with things like Upwelling and Essence Font, which again people are still trying to find out. A good rule of thumb is that fist weaving or rising mist is always going to be a priority in Mythic Plus content, or at least it is based on the numbers. So let's look at what changes happen in pre-patch versus Shadowlands. Keep in mind that their HPS is going to be a lot lower because their main healing cooldown, Red Crane, or if you don't pick Red Crane, Yulon, which both have 3-minute cooldown associated to them, they don't have rank 2. And the rank 2 ability is really juicy, Enveloping Breath. While active, Yulon and Chi Yi heals up to 6 nearby targets with Enveloping Breath when you cast Enveloping Mist. Keep in mind that with Red Crane, you will get Enveloping Mist basically instant cast if you're doing it properly. So all of a sudden this rank 2 ability makes these cooldowns a whole lot stronger. And this is why you see those cooldowns not doing enough healing at this given point. So definitely in Shadowlands, those cooldowns will feel a lot better. In terms of my Mythic Plus experience, I really didn't enjoy that Jade Serpent statue now has like an 8-second channel. And that's before haste. So with my haste, it only casted for about 6.5 seconds. So all of a sudden this really goes against the whole fist weaving playstyle. And I really didn't like what they did with Jade Serpent statue, so I didn't end up using it both in Mythic Plus or raid situations. I do have to mention that they will get better in Shadowlands, and that is evident if you look at Shadowlands HPS, because Mistweavers are actually doing a good amount of healing in Shadowlands raids and Mythic Plus, and to some extent they're kind of underrated in Shadowlands. So don't be discouraged by playing Mistweaver right now, because they're missing a good portion of their HPS. And now let's go to Restoration Juice. Now Restoration Juice in pre-patch are missing a certain amount of utility by not getting rank 2 of certain spells. You're missing things like an improved Ironbark, you're missing things like Nature Swiftness, which might not seem that amazing, but in Mythic Plus, when someone's about to die and you're really missing that strong single target burst, Nature Swiftness combined with something like Regrowth is really cool. You're missing Regrowth ranks, which makes consecutive Regrowths a lot stronger. So there is a lot of things that they're missing in pre-patch, on top of the fact that they don't have rank 2 of Innervate, which adds extra utility in raid situations. So if we look at the historic performance of Resto Druids, they've always been the best Mythic Plus healers, and I feel that's going to kind of carry into Shadowlands as well. Keep in mind that a lot of the legendaries in Shadowlands have been nerfed, but generally speaking, even if you look at the data for Mythic Plus right now, which I didn't really want to look, you can see the Resto Druids are the most popular healers in level 20 plus keys, with Holy Paladin, Discipline Priest, Resto Shaman, and Mistweaver following suit. I don't actually think this ranking or this grouping here is going to be all that different from what you're going to see in Shadowlands. I still feel, again, I feel this is a meme data to show at this given point, but I wanted to show this because I feel this could be a prediction of what to see, because I do feel Resto Druids are going to be the most popular. I do feel the Discipline Priest might climb a little bit higher, and Discipline is going to be a more popular spec in Mythic Plus because of a lot of ways that they deal with affixes, because they got extra utility. And then after that, I feel everyone's going to be very, very equal. I feel you're going to have a lot of Resto Shamans. I feel you're going to have a lot of Mistweaver Monks. I feel you're going to have a lot of Holy Paladins. I do feel that Mistweaver Monks are very underappreciated here because not a lot of players play Monks in general. I feel Monks are a lot better than what they are represented here. And I think Holy Priests are not as bad based on their representation numbers either. I think Holy Priests can actually hold their own depending on what setup you have. So historically speaking, Resto Druid has always been like this. There have been amazing Mythic Plus content, but their utility in raids have let them down because a lot of the other healer utility might outshine them. But if you're not playing that really high-end Mythic raiding, don't be discouraged. Play your Resto Druid. Don't look at these charts and be like, hey, I can't play my Resto Druid in heroic content. Play the class that you really enjoy and only look at these charts or these utility comparisons if you're really trying to min-max every single percentage. Keep that in mind, guys. I have to mention this. And we go to Holy Paladin. This is going to be the most interesting one because Holy Paladin has fallen from being one of the top HPS healers. They still have amazing utility, but fallen from the top HPS healers to something that's the bottom. This is not a clear indication of what's going to be like in Shadowlands. Again, I feel Holy Paladins might receive a certain HPS buff. They did get Holy Shock reduction very, very recently. You have to keep in mind that Holy Paladin performance in Nihilota previously to pre-patch has been due to things like Ineffable Truth. If you had a ton of Ineffable Truth, if you had things like Avenger's Might as the right trait, your wings and your mastery is going to be so strong. And if you look at the cooldown or talent usages for pre-patch Holy Paladins right now, they're still using Avenger's Might. They're still using Triple Glimmer because it stacks. One of the best Azerite traits for raid is still a combination of this. In Mythic Plus, it's a lot different. And I've been trying out Mythic Plus content and you're using that Triple Glimmer, but you're using double Light's Decree. If you could get a third Light's Decree, you would, but there is no chest piece with Light's Decree and Glimmer on it, so you can only use two. Light's Decree, the amount of damage or AoE damage it deals is absolutely insane. So you can play a Holy Paladin right now in Mythic Plus content and do by far the most damage out of all healers, and a Light's Decree is going to contribute a ton to that DPS portion. And in terms of how I enjoyed Holy Paladin, I actually really liked it. It sounds really weird, but I still enjoy my Holy Paladin. I still like the gameplay, even though it is utilizing Holy Power, even though the playstyle is a lot different. You have to keep in mind that there is a big thing that I want to talk about here, and that is Holy Paladin Crusader Strike mana cost. It is insanely expensive. In my opinion, it feels so bad that you basically can just DPS in Mythic Plus content, and you can be running out of mana just by providing DPS. And because of the fact that you cannot use Hammer of Wrath during wings to generate Holy Power, feels even more punishing. And a lot of Holy Paladins right now who are doing pre-patch content are like, man, I'm running out of mana because I have to use Crusader Strike, and it's really painful. I feel that Blizzard should lower the cost of Crusader Strike in the future, and you have to remember that in Shadowlands you will be able to use Hammer of Wrath while wings is active in order to get more Holy Power, and it's going to be a lot easier. Again, I have to mention this disclaimer, it's interesting to look at the healer performance in pre-patch, but it's not going to look like that in Shadowlands. I definitely recommend people to try out the classes in pre-patch and to see if they like the gameplay, especially Holy Paladin. Try out the Holy Paladin gameplay. Keep in mind that not everything is available because of rank 2 spells, and again, there is going to be covenants and legendaries that make Holy Paladin more interesting. The fact that Crusader Strike is so expensive is leading to a new gameplay emerging in Shadowlands in terms of range Holy Paladin. I did a video about this as well, you can check it out. So there's definitely a lot of changes happening to certain healers, and looking at the historical data can give you a good indication of where a healer might end up in Shadowlands. But guys, let me know how you feel about your favorite healer, about the healer performance in pre-patch, about possible predictions of where healers are going to end up in Shadowlands. Let me know, guys, and if you enjoyed this content, please do subscribe and like the video. It helps me to do this, and I'll see you in my next video.